Hi guys, welcome back again to Lunch Guide. I'm your host and chef, Sheena Amario. Today we're going to be making a Mediterranean salad, and obviously by the name it is from around the Mediterranean region, which basically means the regions around like Greece, Spain, that sort of thing. Though mainly this salad could be also considered as a Greek salad, but I'm going to add in some lettuce as well because we're using some feta cheese. And the idea of it being Mediterranean is just because it's very light and fresh, because it is from around the sea region, so it's everything that's easily available to them around that area. So that's where the name derives its name from. So to start off with, we're going to be making a Mediterranean salad with some feta cheese, some croutons, some bread. You don't have to use the bread, but I'm putting it in there for a little crunch. And then we're using some salt, some sugar for the dressing, and then some garlic, some black pepper, some oregano, some olives, some tomatoes, onions, cucumber, lemon, vinegar. The vinegar I'm using here is apple cider vinegar, but you could use whatever vinegar you want, red wine vinegar or white wine vinegar. And then we're going to be using some capsicums, just mixed colored capsicums, as well as some lettuce, of course. And then parsley is what I'm using for my herbs, and some olive oil. So to start off with, I'm going to start off with my bread. So I'm just going to leave this tossing before we go on a short break. So I'm just putting on my heat here. And then we're going to leave this tossing for a little bit. And what I'm making with the bread here is just croutons. So for the bread, you can go ahead and choose to cut off the edge and trimmings if you want to, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to cut everything together. But if you want to, like I've mentioned, you can definitely trim off the edges, just to give it a neater presentation if you like. But since I'm going to toast the bread, I feel like it's going to get a nice crunch all over, so that's fine. So what I've done is just cut the bread, as you saw, straight. Then I'm going now to turn the bread and cut it to the other side. So we're just cutting small bite-sized croutons. And like I've mentioned, if you don't like bread, you don't have to use it. You could use something else for the crunch. Example, like nuts. Nuts would be a good substitute for this, for the little crunch factor I'm looking for. So we're going to drizzle our pan with a bit of olive oil. Now you could use sunflower oil if you want to, canola oil, but I like olive oil. Like I've said, this is a Mediterranean kind of inspired dish. So I'm just using what would be locally available for them or easily accessible to them. But you at home, use whatever preference you like. Even coconut oil will be really good for this as well. So once you've heated your pan, we're going to go ahead and throw our bread in. So just nice bite-sized pieces, as you can see. So throw this in there. And then I'm going to season this with a bit of oregano, as well as some salt and some black pepper. Just a little bit, because the bread does have its own salt anyway. So this is just for a little flavor from far. And some salt. So I've added some black pepper, some salt, because I love my black pepper. Then I'm going to add some oregano. Yes, and some nice oregano. So the oregano is going to toss as well with the bread, which is going to make it just more fragrant. So just going to turn this, and you'll notice the bread will start to turn brown. So just give it a minute, then toss it. Then you could easily do this in the oven as well. If you don't want to do it in the pan, you could do this in the oven as well. But to make it easy for myself, I'm just going to do it in the pan so that it's easy for you to do it and it's accessible, so you don't feel like it's something that you need the oven for. So just toss your bread some more. So we're going to leave that tossing, and then we're going to go on a short break so that when you guys come back, you'll see the bread will have toasted nice and golden brown, giving it a nice kind of like nutty-ish flavor, but from far. So we're looking for the toast kind of feeling of the bread, like when you toast your bread. Okay, so I'll see you guys after the break. Bye. guys, welcome back to Lunch Guide. I'm your host and chef, Sheena Amario. Today we're going to be making a Mediterranean salad. If you just tuned in, we actually toasted our bread. Now what I did here is just get a normal white bread, and then I had the slices, cut them up into little bits, chopped them up, and then I added some olive oil into the pan, some salt, some black pepper, some oregano, and the bread of course, and then toast it. So during the break, my bread got nice and toasty and crunchy, and like I mentioned, that's what we're looking for, the crunchy sound. You can even feel it in the pan. So that's exactly what you're looking for when you toast your bread. It will give you the nice bite. I don't know if you can hear that. Since I love testing everything for you guys. Yes. So it gives it this nice little bite, this nice crunch, and that's exactly what you're looking for in the bread. So to go ahead, we're going to start off with our lettuce, which we're just going to take from our strainer. What I did here is just wash the lettuce. As you can see, it's nice and clean. So make sure at home you've washed your lettuce thoroughly, because you don't want to spread any germs. And then you've drained the lettuce. As you can see, mine doesn't have any liquid in it, hardly any. So that's what I've done, I've drained it. But if you actually don't have a strainer, this is the easy way. But you could also use a spinner. Get your salad, chop it up into little bits, and then get your spinner and then just spin it round. That's the simplest way. So for our salad, I'm going to go ahead and start chopping it. So like I mentioned, I'm making our Mediterranean salad, and the only cooking that's taking place here is actually just for the croutons. Now you could easily add chicken if you wanted to this dish, eggs as well if you wanted to this dish, but we're making it purely vegetarian, so I'm not adding anything. Of course I could add eggs, but I'm not adding any type of protein in here. We're purely going to be just having our vegetables. The protein I'm going to use here and fat is just from the cheese, of course. So once you've chopped your lettuce just into bite-sized pieces, nice bite-sized pieces, we're going to go ahead and then use our bowl. We get a bigger bowl here. We're going to go ahead and use our bowl. So just place your nice chopped lettuce inside the bowl. So whatever cut you want to do here, it's absolutely fine. Just make sure it's a nice bite size, so that someone is not really struggling to eat the lettuce or the salad. And then from there, we're going to go ahead and chop the other vegetables. This is a very colorful dish. Like I've mentioned, it is a Mediterranean inspired dish, so it's got lots of colors because it is from like the sea region. So I'm just trying to keep it nice and colorful. So your capsicums, you could cut them in whatever shape you want to. I'm just going like a zigzag sort of diagonal way. So a little zigzag like that, and then another zigzag. So you could definitely cut whatever shapes you wanted to here. Just make it your own dish. Now I love the taste of peppers. If you guys don't like the taste of peppers, then you don't have to use them. But if you don't mind it, then you should definitely try it, because they've got this nice sweet taste to them, and they make your dish nice and colorful and vibrant, of course. And we're looking for the color, like I've mentioned. It's kind of like you're eating the rainbow because you have so many colors going on. You've got the red, the yellow, the green, as well as a bit of purple from the onion. So it's a whole arena of colors. And you know, like they say, most times we always eat with our eyes, so you just want to make sure that your salad is colorful, and especially if you're not someone who's used to eating salads, so you just want to make sure that it's something that's pleasing to your eye, because if it's not, then the chances of you eating the salad are pretty much slim to none. But I enjoy eating my salad, so I like making them whenever I get the chance. So once you're done chopping your capsicums, your colored capsicums, we're going to get our onion. I'm just going to put this a little bit closer for me to reach them, and our cucumber. And then for the onions, we're actually we're not going to use much of it. We don't want it too oniony, so we're just going to cut this into, again, the same style, but I'm just going to chop this into a bit of smaller sizes, because sometimes people don't like the taste of onions. But if you don't mind it, then by all means you could cut them a bit larger, and then just spread this, break them through, so that you can see each and every piece of the onion. So you want to just separate this, make sure they're being seen, so they're nice and broken, so you're not biting into a very big chunk of onion. Like I've said, some people don't like onions, so just make sure you cut them then a bit smaller, or you don't even have to use the onions. And then for this, the cucumber, I'm going to go ahead and slice off the tip. And then just to give this a little bit more of a character, we're just going to use our peeler here and then just go around, give it grooves. So we're just going to go ahead and then just create nice grooves. And then skip, then again skip. So this just gives your cucumber a character. You see, you suddenly have a character. But you could definitely omit from doing it that way. You could just slice it the regular way. So get your knife. And then if you wanted to, you could definitely omit the seeds as well. I'm going to keep everything in, just because I want the juices in here as well, so I don't mind. And then we're just slicing this regular. If it's too big, you can cut it into thirds, because that's why I did it into halves. So just work with the size that you want your salad to be. If you want it on the chunky side, on the larger side, then make your slices a bit bigger. So I'm going to get my tomato. Like I've mentioned, for this salad, we're barely doing any cooking other than the croutons. It's a simple salad. All you have to do is just combine it. So it shouldn't be any excuse not to make it at home, because it barely has any work to be done, literally. Barely any work. So I'm going to just cut this into halves. So they're a bit on the chunky side, but not too chunky. There we are. So nice quarters. Once you cut your tomato into half, then you cut it into quarters, which is what I've done there. Then this, we're just going to place it aside. And then to go ahead, now we've got most of our vegetables right in here. So we're going to add our cheese as well. And then for the cheese, you want to make sure that your cheese is nice and dry. So I'm just going to wipe off my board, even though everything is going to go together. But I just like to make sure that your cheese is nice and dry. So what mistakes happen. Anyway, so whatever I'm using here is a feta cheese. And for the feta cheese, you could actually cut this up. If you wanted to, it cuts really nicely. Or you could just crumble it. I sometimes like to crumble everything just because it gives you a nice therapeutic feel to your food. When you're touching your food, it just makes you feel like you're one with the food. You know what I mean? So sometimes I just like to do that. So I'm just going to break this into nice chunks. Just like that. Nice big chunks. Because the more you mix it, it's going to actually end up breaking a little bit. So you don't want to cut it too small. So there we are. That's our feta cheese. Now you could use a different type of cheese here. I just like the feta cheese because it's got this nice crumbly texture to it, and that is what most times the Greeks will use for their salad. This type of salad, like I mentioned, it's a Mediterranean salad. It could also be a Greek salad. With a Greek salad, usually most times you don't have the lettuce in it. So to go ahead, I'm going to then add my olives. And this is because I have my olives with me. If you don't have olives, you don't have to use them. Now, there are different types of olives. There's the pitted olives, there's the green olives, and then there's the ones that are not pitted. These ones are not pitted. So I'm going to go ahead and actually slice this through. Since I'm using the knife for the same job, my salad is going there. It's not a big deal. But if you are not using this for the same, then you'll have to rinse out your knife. So I'm just cutting this around the pit because there is a seed in here, and I don't want you biting into the seed. So make sure whenever you're buying your olives, the packet or the tin or the container says pitted. That means that they're not whole. The whole ones are what I'm using, which now have seeds in them. So it can be very dangerous, especially if you use whole olives and maybe your friends don't know if you're serving somebody and they're not aware and they bite into it, because you could end up breaking your tooth, and I don't think you want that in your hands. Yeah, so just make the choice whether you're going to buy pitted or whole ones, and then just do the slicing yourself. So like I've said, I'm just running through the olive round just to make sure that I don't cut through the seed, to make sure that I go round, because you can't really cut through the seed. And then place the seed aside. Then do the same. So this does tend to be a lot more work sometimes, but the good thing with this is that your olives tend to be whole most of the times. But if you don't want to do the extra work, then by all means buy the pitted one. I also buy the pitted ones. Doesn't mean that I always want to be slicing. But like I said, sometimes I don't mind the work because it's nice and therapeutic when in the kitchen. Okay, so once you're done slicing your pits, out. There we are, the seeds that is. So we're just going to add this in here. And you see what I mean about the colors? Our salad is looking so colorful already. And like I said, most times we do it with our eyes, so you want to kind of just make sure that you have enough colors going on in your food, just because people appreciate food more when it's nice and colorful. And I feel like if you're introducing yourself to a salad especially, you're more likely to eat it if it's speaking to you, if it's nice and vibrant and colorful. So for the seeds, you don't need to use them. You can now discard this. So I'm just doing that. Then I'm going to place this aside, and then we're going to make our dressing. So for the dressing, what I'm using here is, I'm going to go ahead and get my bowl. So for the dressing, I'm going to use a bit of some apple cider vinegar, as well as some olive oil and some herbs. Actually, I'm going to chop a bit of the herbs, then just add those in there. And we're going to use some oregano as well. So for the oregano, just a little bit, about half a teaspoon of oregano. And the oregano will just give your food a bit more of texture as well, because this is dry oregano, so it's got a little bite to it. And then I'm going to add some parsley because I like my parsley. Now you could also add some basil to this because it's going to give it a nice fresh taste. We're all about nice fresh taste here. We're all about that summer taste, where everything is nice, light, fragrant. So go ahead and place this in your bowl. It doesn't have to take you much time with the chopping. Now you could also add onions if you wanted to your dressing, but I'm not going to do that just because I have onions here. And then we're going to add our apple cider vinegar. I mentioned I'm using apple cider vinegar, but you could definitely use whatever vinegar you want, a red wine vinegar, a white wine vinegar. So just add your vinegar in there. And then your olive oil. And we're going to season this with a bit of salt and some black pepper. So I like to go a bit heavy on the olive oil because I don't want it too acidic. And then we're going to whisk this just so it emulsifies. If you don't have a whisk, you could definitely use a fork. But I'm just going to go ahead and grab my whisk and then just whisk this. And what happens is that the vinegar and the oil starts to emulsify and it will get a little bit thick. So we're going to add a bit of salt, like I've mentioned. Just a little salt, because nothing there is seasoned. Remember, your dressing here is going to act as your seasoning for your entire salad. And this is a vegetarian dish, like I mentioned, but you could easily add chicken to it, beef to it, or whatever other protein you'd like to add. So the protein I'm using here is mainly from the cheese, which is also acting as the fat as well. So just mix this in gently, not too gentle. And then you want to make sure you taste your dressing, just so you're sure that whatever seasoning is in there is what you actually want, because sometimes it could be on the less side or it could be on the heavier side, so you kind of want to just balance it out. Now I like my dressings a bit on the tangy side, so that way when I add them into my vegetables, it's going to, any liquid that was in the vegetables is going to actually dilute it a little bit. So it's a bit too zesty for me, too tangy for me. So I'm going to add a bit of sugar, and that's why I put the sugar here. The sugar balances it out. So I'm going to add just a little bit of sugar. Now you could also use honey for this, or date syrup. So just work with whatever you have. Maple syrup as well. And then we're going to whisk this. And then I'm going to add a bit more vinegar, so it's not, like I said, I like mine on the tangy side. And the texture you're looking for, like I said, the vinegar is going to emulsify. And once it does, is the texture you get. So you're looking for a nice, kind of like not too thick, a bit runny. That's the texture you're looking for. And you can see everything has come together, whereby before everything was separated, everything has now come together in your dressing. And that's what I meant by it emulsifying together. And something else you can use for this to emulsify completely, you could use now some mustard if you wanted. The mustard is going to give your dressing a nice tangy taste. and it's going to give your dressing as well a nice yellow color, and it's definitely going to be fully emulsified because the mustard will bring the two ingredients together. So that is good enough for me. So we're just going to pour this inside our dressing. Just scoop that in there. Then we're going to mix our dressing. Now, if you are not eating your salad at this particular moment, what you'd want to do is not season your salad. You'd rather want to serve it on the side, the dressing, and then people could scoop in the mixture for themselves. So we're just going to mix this. Oh, yum. It's already looking so colorful. I'm going to add some to the topping. Then just mix it. So like I said, it's a very simple salad you could do at home, nothing too complicated. It's just a way of getting you to eat your salads. And then once that's mixed, what I like to do is now add my croutons. So just throw in some croutons. Again, they just add a nice crunch to your salad and a little bit of character, which is something you definitely want in your salad, because you don't want your salad to be boring. Then you're not going to eat it, right? And I want you to eat your salads. Then just give this another mix. And for the croutons, if you want them crunchy, you want to make sure you add them like at the last minute, because you want to make sure that your croutons are nice and crunchy. Otherwise, if you add them too soon and your salad sits out in the dressing, they're going to soak up the moisture and it's going to end up being a bit soggy, which is fine if you're making a panzanella salad, which is just a salad that has tomatoes in it and parsley and olives. But if you're making a salad and you want it crunchy, your croutons that is, just make sure you add them at the last minute so that they're a bit crunchy. So we're going to go on a short break, and when you guys come back, we're going to go ahead and plate our salad. Like you've seen, it's so nice and simple. So I hope you guys stay tuned until we come back from the break. Hi guys, welcome back to Lunch Guide. I'm your host and chef, Sheena Amario. Today we're making a Mediterranean salad. If you just tuned in, we're just about to wrap up. I just wanted to add a bit more of some lemon. The mixture, I've already mixed it. We've got some, I mentioned we're making a Mediterranean salad here today. So we've got some mixed vegetables, some lettuce, some capsicum, some cucumber, and then I have some cheese as well as some dry croutons that I toasted earlier. So I'm going to add a bit of garlic just because I like garlic, and I like to add it at the last minute so that it's a little pungent, but not too much. But if you don't like garlic, you can definitely omit using it. So I'm just going to use a little bit just so it can give a nice garlicky taste. And I'm adding it raw, which is why I've said this is more of like an acquired sort of like taste. If you don't like it, then don't put it, or you could actually put it in your dressing so that way it's a little mild. Then I'm going to add some zest just so it can bring some freshness to the salad, which I'm going to finish off with. Now I love using the zest because the zest is a lot stronger than the juice most times and gives your salad a nice little tangy taste from far. It's not normally too overpowering, but if you don't like your lemon, then you don't have to use this. So that's enough. So I'm going to go ahead and plate my salad. Like I mentioned, this is a nice summery salad that you can enjoy at home. In Kenya, we don't really have like summer, but we do have like our hot season, dry, and the likes. I think you can tell I didn't take geography. I took geography, but I didn't pay much attention. I don't remember what the seasons were. Well, thank goodness this isn't a geography lesson. So add your salad. As you can see, it's very nice and colorful, which is what I mentioned you want to see. All the nice colors. You want your salad to be nice, vibrant, because people do eat with their eyes after all. So you want to make sure that all the colors are popping. the color, everything is nice and popping and colorful because people will divulge into your salad with their eyes. So I'm just adding a little more croutons for the crunch. Then we're going to add a bit more of olives just on the top, just so that the contrast can be a little bit stronger, and just so that they're more visible. Going to add another one. So you just want to make sure that everything is nice and colorful. And then now your zest. Now the zest here, like I've mentioned, it's going to make your salad nice and summery and zesty and tangy. And it's going to give it the nice lemony taste, but not harsh. It has a nice sweet taste to it because that's what the zest usually does to your food. So it will give it a nice fresh taste, and we're all about freshness. We kind of want that nice fresh taste to your food. So just clean up your plate if you have to. And then that's it for our main dish. So as you saw, this was a really simple salad to do, guys. It was not complicated at all. And then if you wanted to, you could even finish off with some of your dressing that you had. Remember, I mentioned that if you're making a salad, try and ensure that if you're not eating it immediately, not to put your dressing at that time, because what happens is it soaks up too much and it does not sit. It cannot sit out for long. So you might want to add your dressing when your guests come in, when you're ready to plate your salad to your guests. So that was our simple salad for today, guys. It was a nice Mediterranean salad, very simple ingredients you can easily find. If you don't want to use the olives, you don't have to use them. That's probably the one ingredient I'll say it's a bit hard to find. Of course, I did mention I used cheese. If you don't want to use cheese, you can omit the cheese. I used feta cheese. So those might be the two ingredients here in Kenya that could be a bit challenging for you to find in the stores, but they're really easily accessible in the supermarkets if you just go out there and challenge yourself to finding them, to trying something different to your salads, because I really hope you do try it, because I'm trying to get you guys to cook with me. Nice, interesting, vibrant, fun, easy, that's a keyword, easy meals, so that you can try it at home. So make sure you tune in again for Lunch Guide. I'm your host and chef, Sheena Amario. Today we made a Mediterranean salad. Be sure to follow us on social media, Brand Plus TV. But until then, I'll see you guys next time.